if you've watched me fish in years past, I'm a guy that likes technology. I enjoy technology, and I've embraced technology and where it's going to do. But mostly I've embraced it because of what it's taught me and how much more efficient it has made me. When I look at LiveScope as a whole, man, I look back at what I believed fish are doing and now what I know they're doing, and I'm like, boy, oh boy, I guess you convinced yourself that you could catch them this way, but the fish were really doing this. LiveScope tells us that. You know, you see fish moving, you see different things, you see stumps in a different manner, you see how bait fish are setting up, you see how things are reacting to your bait in an all-due manner.
Yeah, I've learned a lot about fish behavior. You know, I was very, very fortunate to be, I don't know if I was the first guy to run the old Panoptics, but I've had it for a long time, and if there's anything that I've learned with LiveScope, it's how fish behave and how their senses, if you get around them, you know, and that was 10 years ago. You can just, I mean, you can see it. You put the trolling motor down and these fish know that you're there. You see how they react to your bait. You see how they change based on cloudy, sunny, windy, boat traffic, water color. There's so many different variables that go in, and having LiveScope, you're able to see that pretty quickly. And you know, there's one thing about LiveScope is there's nothing that can hide underwater now. I mean, you know, the old days of going out and putting a brush pile in and nobody finding it are over, because I can simply pull up, make one swipe, I can see all the brush, I can see all the fish, all the rocks, all of that good stuff.
How you use LiveScope definitely changes with the seasons. You know, a lot of times we see videos of LiveScope, guys catching and chasing nomadic fish. A lot of times that's really predominant through the winter time, early spring months. When the fish go to spawn, you've got some guys now that are utilizing perspective mode, fishing for spawning bass, and then when they come off the beds, a lot of times they really relate tight to cover. So tight that sometimes you can't even see them with LiveScope. So you have to be really good at understanding the type of cover that bass sit around, and we do what I call cover scoping, right? We're not fishing for individual fish, we're fishing specific cover, making specific casts, whether it's down a grass line, on a brush pile, next to a stump, a drop. And so really, the season determines what type of LiveScoping you're going to be doing.
You know, forward-facing sonar has really changed the way that I approach a lot of lakes. I see myself fishing a lot deeper on clear lakes like Table Rock, Smith Lake, different places where fish really suspend deeper. Fish where we didn't even know where they were at. Other things is like I love to structure fish. Used to, you'd pull up on a piece of structure, maybe it was a brush pile that I put out myself, and you'd make 15, 20 casts and finally touch it and then throw a buoy out and then get your line up. It might take 15 minutes. Might not even happen that day. Now with LiveScope, you roll up there, pan around, there it is, you make the very first cast. What I've known from that or learned is the fact that the biggest fish will bite on the first cast because you didn't pester him around and let him know you were there. You made the perfect cast on the first cast, and without technology from forward-facing sonar, that could have never happened.
All right, we're right here at the power plant intake, and you can see there's a rock break wall right here, and right a little bit farther down there's some reeds. And so that bottom composition is going to change from really hard rock bottom to more of a soft composition. And you can see right here on LiveScope, you can see that really good return where it's really hard is going to give you a brighter image. And then it transitions over to that softer, more of that silty mud. And you can see there's several tilapia beds. You can kind of see the different shadows. And we have our range set to 110 feet because with that XR you can see a little bit further. You can see all of the beds that are in this area right here, and you know, really see that bottom composition really change. There's a huge transitional line, so you can throw a bait right over the top of that rock, and those fish a lot of times will be waiting on the edge, ready to ambush your bait.